Hey everyone, happy Monday. I hope you can hear me because I am at the airport trying to catch this flight. But I wanted to start off with this thing that I found to be really funny. I was on the beach the other night. It's about 11 o'clock at night. And I mean, this dog is going up and down the beach over and over. I sat there. If you look to the right, there's a little wall or a ledge there. I was sitting there and watching this dog go back and forth and back and forth. And I'm all frantic, like, where's this dog's mama? Where's this dog belong? What's going on? Why is this dog? Does he need anything? Is he lonely? Now I'm ignoring all of the tongue hanging out of his mouth, ears just flapping in the wind, barreling back and forth. He'll stop to pee or sniff something and then come back and get to running again. So I'm sitting there and he ran out of sight. And when I turned the corner, I was headed back home. And I turned the corner and there's the dog again. And all of a sudden I hear this. And the dog runs up to a house, the door flies open, he goes in and totally at home. Right. And I'm like, wow, like this dog is free. Now I'm thinking of my dogs right now. They're in a freaking jail. They're crated right now somewhere, at 11 o'clock at night. Right. And it just made me think about, oh, shoot, what is liberation? Liberation looks chaotic. Being really, really free looks aimless. It looks just ad hoc. It looks reckless. It looks irresponsible. It looks all of those things, right? It looks like all of that. And I had to really stop and think about myself and, well, what does my liberation look like? Because I got so much going on right now. Why am I sitting on an island just walking up and down the beach? This is, in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, you're so irresponsible. You should be doing this. You should be calling the attorneys. You should be doing this. You should be figuring out the mortgage company. I don't want to do any of that. I just want to be free and I want to do what I want to do. And so it really made me think about how just hard it is to be free. The mental prison that we put ourselves in, the mental enslavement of, no, you shouldn't be doing things that you love and that bring you joy and that balance out your chakras and and regulate your body. No, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be grinding, hustling, figuring it out, solving problems. It is so weird to now feel like, well, what is my life and what does freedom look like to me? What does my liberation look like? What does it mean? How am I going to live it out? I've spent my whole life reacting to this, reacting to these people, reacting to this circumstance, reacting. Then now, when it's time to create, I'm kind of stuck. I'm at a loss. Like, well, where do I begin to actually create? Create from what? Create from absolutely nothing? Just like start designing some stuff in the air and say, okay, yes, 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 no, no, no. And I think that's what it really kind of boils down to. I've really been thinking, do I need this big house? I don't need all that dog hair and HOA, which is kind of like living in I mean, they tell you what to do with your house and does that make sense to me? Because here I have about maybe 10 things in my closet and like 5 pairs of flip flops. I don't need all that stuff. I don't need any of it. And so now this new idea of liberation is really, really taking me for a loop because there's so much that I've convinced myself that I need or is important or that I should have, and none of that is true. So now I'm just here trying to figure out like where do I want to go? And it may not be Belize forever. It may, but I don't know. If I'm really, really designing and creating, then look, the sky's the limit. What do I want? Where can I go? What will make me happy? So that is really the inquiry that I'm in. I mean, last week I was so obsessed about this house. And then thanks to those who reached out, it was like, girl, I felt it. I saw you. I see you. I thought about you all week. And this week, after being here, I'm like, none of that matters. Because when I think about that, I get tightness in my chest. I get into my strategy. I start to get performative. I start to think about, well, if I say this will happen. If I do this, that will happen. Here, I don't think like that here. So, one thing I can tell you about all of this whole thing about my liberation, my freedom, about creating, what am I going to do, what it's going to look like, where I'm going to live, how I'm going to feel, all of that, what I can say is I, one, will live my life by design. If somebody says, hey, do you want to do X? If I immediately are like, ugh, I don't want to, I'm just not going to. I mean, there are things that some things I don't have, I have to do, right? But for the most part, so many of the things that I say yes to, I don't have to do. I do it because of the enslaved psychology and consciousness around you got to be a good person, you got to be a nice person, you got to do this and go there. No. The second thing is my energy and my time are the most important things I have. And I cannot afford and do not want to be in a situation where I'm giving my energy and I'm getting nothing in return. Not ever, not again, right? So that means from the first date, that means from the first encounter, that means from the first meeting. If my body feels depleted, like, oof, because I know where that leads. I've been there, I've done that. And finally, that P word, potential. I'm not living for anybody else's potential. Oh, they can figure it out. Oh, this idea has great potential. No, if it's not good now, I don't want it. Anyway, that's my thought, y'all. That's where I'm at. I gotta go catch my flight. Y'all have a good rest of your Monday. Be well. Bye.